Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? My name is Maricruz. I'm an engineer, environmentalist, and entrepreneur. I started 3 businesses during my PhD, 2 of which I'm still running today as a full-time engineer. So in this channel, I show you how to start and grow your small business successfully and sustainably, even if you're working full-time. I'm actually really excited about this video because it allowed me to reflect on starting 3 businesses during my PhD program, and I think I got some good lessons to share with you so that you don't have to go through what I did and you can learn from mistakes. Let's get right into it. Just a little bit of a background. This PhD that I was doing was a 5-year-long PhD in mechanical engineering, and so it was like a really long program, and I had a lot of flexibility in my schedule, so I could really pick whenever I worked on my business and when I could work on my research or in my lab work. So I did have a lot of flexibility, which not everybody does, but even still I was super busy because, you know, a PhD is a lot of work, and I was still taking some classes as well, so there was a lot going on in my life. I just thought I would throw that in there, you know, a disclaimer. And I think this video would be super helpful for any entrepreneur, or if you're thinking of starting a business, because you don't have to make the mistakes that I did, right? Learn from me. I'll tell you my 4 biggest lessons learned while building 3 businesses during my PhD, and I had to learn the hard way, but you don't have to. Lesson number 1, prioritizing your time is way more important than time management. I'll explain. So we all have the same amount of time in a day. We have 24 hours, we have 52 weeks in a year, and really the difference between having a successful and a failed business, whatever that means to you, is how we prioritize our time. It's easy to say, and I hear it very often, oh, I don't have enough time. Well, as your true friend, I'm gonna tell you, you do have time. You're just not prioritizing it correctly. I want to invite you to switch that language and say, I am not prioritizing blank right now. And if it feels wrong to say that, for example, health, if you say, I am not prioritizing making my own food, and it feels wrong, then maybe you should prioritize it, right? If we were to use the traditional I don't have time, right? I don't have time to make food. It doesn't hit as deeply as saying like I am not prioritizing making food for myself. Like, ooh, that hits different. You know what I'm saying? So here I am as a PhD student with a full-time schedule thinking there's no way I have time to start a business. Like this, we're talking about the first one. It just felt like I was always rushing, like I was always running out of time. But I decided to look at my actual time and how it was spent. So I decided to track my time. So I did a time log for a couple of weeks and really analyzed where my time was going. I had to be really honest with myself, and I found out that I was spending, an hour or 2 on Instagram or on YouTube rabbit holes. Those were common. So I had to ask myself, if my goal is to create this conscious business that's gonna impact the world in a positive way, is spending an hour on Instagram or 2 hours on YouTube rabbit holes really getting me closer to that goal? The answer was no. So I would consider doing a time log for yourself. It really is helpful and very eye-opening. So when someone tells you, oh, you just need some time management tips or like productivity tools, I found that prioritizing my time was the single most impactful thing in actually making things happen. Not like the tomato clock thing, timer, Pomodoro thing. That helps, but it wasn't as impactful as actually sitting down, being honest, and prioritizing my time and my values. Lesson number 2, you can use your personal health as a tool for success. So once I got all my time allocated in my calendar, I realized I really had every single hour accounted for in my day, which sounds a little extreme. You don't have to go that extreme. But that meant I was really gonna be a busy bee, right? Which means I really needed a lot of energy. I think the best energy source is your own body using food and movement. So I really think that I survived my PhD and was able to build 3 businesses along the way because I was feeding myself good food and I was moving. I used yoga a lot, actually every single day. Usually at night, I will finish off with a yoga and then I would have restful sleep. And because I was nourishing my body, moving, and getting good sleep, I think I was able to actually do all the things that I did while still having this super stressful PhD program, super stressful like entrepreneurship life as well, right? But even though I had all these high stress activities going on, I was still taking care of myself and again prioritizing my health. And I think that was a great tool for me to actually get things done. I don't know if I would have survived, honestly, if I wasn't doing those things to take care of myself. I did try a few times to say like, oh, you know what, maybe this week I don't have time to cook. Again, that's the mistake, right, of saying I don't have time. But there's the airplane. Time's a ticking. There were a few weeks where I truly was super busy. So then I decided to go to sleep instead of doing yoga or not cook at home and just eat out. And that's usually when I saw burnout be triggered, right? That's kind of when I would start going downhill, hit burnout, and then be out for a week mentally, emotionally, physically, right? So let's not do that. Don't do that. Learn from me and take care of your health because it really is a tool for you to use for success. I just dropped my mic again. The third lesson is that if you're not passionate about your business, it's not gonna work. I mentioned at the beginning that I started 3 businesses during my PhD, but I'm only running 2 of them. RIP to the third one. The third business, the one that's not currently alive anymore, I kind of just accepted to be part of it because it was a good opportunity and it really showed a lot of promise. But that motivation to keep going when things went wrong started going down. And eventually it got to a place where I wasn't enjoying what I was doing because I wasn't passionate about it. So I think the reason that the 2 other businesses are successful right now is because I am so passionate about it, right? Menos Waste, I am super passionate about taking care of the planet and the people. Sunmud is a mineral sunscreen company that is run in this business model that I think all small businesses should follow because it takes care of people and planet while still being an amazing product. That's shameless plug. Go visit us at sunmudsunscreen.com. Thanks. And let me tell you, Menos Waste had a lot of downs. There was ups, there was a lot of downs. And I didn't make any money the first 2 years with Menos Waste. So yeah, it's been rough, but I stuck with it because I am so passionate about it. So definitely pick something that you're passionate about, and that's gonna really help you succeed. This is why in my video about how to start a small business, this is step number 1, is defining your why. Kind of ties in with your passion, right? And lesson number 4, this is my favorite, by the way, because while building 3 businesses during my PhD, I learned that nothing really matters. My sister really loves this one because I actually tell her sometimes that she doesn't matter that much. And hold on, before you say I'm a horrible sister, there's a reason for this. So I had so many colleagues, and actually my sister too, when she was finishing her PhD, they were so stressed out that they put everything aside, like nothing mattered except the research, right? And they had to work weekends and they had to work holidays and extra hours, overnighters, just because they had to do XYZ in order to finish their project. Truth is, they didn't. Honestly, if you don't get that one task done, nothing's gonna happen. It's not the end of the world. Even if you don't report that week to your supervisor or whatever, it's gonna be fine. Nobody's gonna die. Once I realized this, it significantly lowered my stress levels. And this allowed me to pay more attention to my business. It allowed me to be more creative, both in the lab and in my businesses, because that stress level was down. It's not to be mean, but really, you don't matter that much. And take that with all of my love to ya. It's in the most loving way I say that. So really, when you're finding yourself all stressed out, so stressed out that you can't really do anything in your business and you can't do your full-time or your school time efficiently because you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, if I take this task that's stressing you out and you don't do it, what's the worst case scenario? That's a key question, because most of the time, I mean, there are some people doing some really crazy research, but most of the time, the answer is not that bad. And the answer is not like, oh, 5 people will die. I don't know, it's a bad example, but it won't be that bad. And the same carries over to your business. So there were times where I was like, oh, I have to ship this right now, which means I have to leave my lab and make it to the post office before 5 and, completely move my whole schedule around and raise my cortisol levels, my stress hormone levels, just because I need to ship that. Where if you ask yourself, or if I ask myself, which I did, really, what is the worst case scenario if I don't ship it today? Worst case scenario was usually I would send maybe a little extra gift to the customer because it was a little late. Or really, sometimes the customer would not even notice that it was a day late. Nobody cares, is what I'm trying to get at. So just to summarize, I love summarizing. I just shared with you 4 lessons that I learned building 3 businesses during my PhD. First one was that prioritizing your time is way more important than time management. Second one is that health can be used as a tool for success. Third one is that if you're not passionate about your business, it won't work. So you must be passionate. And the fourth one is that nothing really matters and nobody cares. I really hope that you take some time to kind of go through these 4 things and see if it's affecting you right now as you're building your business or as you're thinking about starting your business while working full-time. Also, I've mentioned time logging and keeping a time log of how you spend your time a few times in these videos. So let me know down in the comments if you would like me to do a whole video on how to log your time and then how to prioritize certain things. I've had to do that over and over again. Pretty much once a year, I do a time log of my time and see how I'm spending my time, or if there's any changes that I have to do. So I've done it a few times already for the past 6 years. So let me know if you would like a video on that, or if you want a template on how to track your time or whatever. I think that might be really helpful. Let me know. I can do that. Well, that is all I have for you today. I hope that was helpful. Hope you learned something new and maybe avoid some of the issues and challenges that I faced. Until next week, don't forget, Poquito goes a long way. Ciao, ciao.